Magandang araw mga kasipnayan! Welcome to Sir Ocnic's YouTube channel. In this video, we will rewrite the equation of a circle in center radius form, also known as standard form. The center radius form of the circle equation comes directly from the distance formula and the definition of a circle. If the center of a circle is the point hk and the radius is length r, then every point xy on the circle is distance r from the point hk. The center radius form is given by the formula quantity x minus h squared plus quantity y minus k squared equals r squared, wherein the center of the circle is at hk and r is the radius. Convert x squared plus y squared minus 4x minus 6y plus 8 equals 0 into center radius form. So the first thing to do is to regroup the terms included in the parentheses. That is equal to quantity x squared minus 4x plus quantity y squared minus 6y equals negative 8. Also, transpose the constant on the other side. The next is, you identify the third term that will make the two groups a perfect square trinomial. On the first group, that will be negative 4 divided by 2, that is equal to negative 2, squared is equal to positive 4. You also add positive 4 on the right side of the equation to make the equation balanced or equal. On the next trinomial, that is equal to negative 6 all over 2, which is equal to negative 3 squared, and that makes positive 9. You also add positive 9 on the right side of the equation. Now, let us express the trinomial into square of a binomial. So that is equal to quantity x minus 2 squared plus quantity y minus 3 squared equals positive 5. This is now the standard form of the equation. If we are going to determine the center of the equation using the standard form, we all know that the center is at hk. Therefore, the values of h and k based on the given formula will be the coordinates of the center of the circle, and that is equal to 2, 3. That means that the center of the circle lies at point 2, 3. If we are asked about the length of the radius of the circle, we have r squared is equal to 5. Get the square root of both sides to get the length of r, and that is equal to r equals square root of 5. Convert x squared plus y squared plus 6x minus 2y plus 1 equals 0 into center radius form. Again, regroup first the terms of the equation, and that is equal to quantity x squared plus 6x plus quantity y squared minus 2y equals negative 1. Transpose positive 1 or the constant on the other side of the equation. Let us now identify the third term that will make the trinomial a perfect square trinomial. 6 divided by 2, that is equal to 3, squared, that is equal to positive 9. Add also positive 9 on the other side of the equation. On our second trinomial, that is equal to negative 2 divided by 2, which is equal to negative 1. Square of negative 1 is equal to positive 1. You also add positive 1 on the other side. Now let us express the trinomial into square of a binomial. So that is equal to quantity x plus 3 squared plus quantity y minus 1 squared is equal to 9. Therefore, this is the standard form of the equation. Now, using the standard form, Let us now identify the coordinates of the center of the circle. The center is at HK. So we need to identify the values of H and K based on the standard form. The center is at -3, +1. Let us now identify the length of the radius. Since r is equal to radius and r squared based on the standard form is equal to 9, you get the square root of both sides to get the value of r, and that is equal to r equals to 3. Therefore, the center is at -3 and 1 with the length of a radius of 3 units. Convert x squared plus y squared minus 6x minus 12y equals 0 into center radius form. Regroup the terms included in the equation, and that is equal to quantity x squared minus 6x plus quantity y squared minus 12y is equal to 0. Let us now identify the third term that will make a perfect square trinomial. So we have -6 divided by 2, that is equal to -3, is squared is equal to +9. You add 9 on the first trinomial, also add 9 on the right side of the equation. For our second trinomial, that is equal to -12 over 2, which is equal to -6. Square of -6 is equal to +36. Also add +36 on the other side of the equation to make the equation balance. Let us now try to express the trinomial into a square of a binomial. So x squared minus 6x plus 9 is equivalent to x minus 3 squared, while y squared minus 12y plus 36 is equivalent to quantity y minus 6 squared, equals 45. This is now the standard form of the equation of the circle. Since we now have the standard form of the equation of the circle, we may now identify the center, the coordinates of the center of the circle, using the values of h and k. The coordinates of the center are 3 and 6. Let us now identify the length of the radius. From the equation, we all know that r squared is equal to 45. Therefore, by squaring or by getting the square root of both sides, we can now identify the value of r, and that is equal to r equals square root of 45. Take note that the square root of 45 can be simplified. 45 is factorable to 9 and 5, therefore, r is equal to 3 square root of 5. Convert x squared plus y squared plus 18y plus 80 equals 0 into center radius form. Let us try to regroup first the terms included in the equation, and that will be equal to quantity x squared plus quantity y squared plus 18y equals -80. There's no such term with the literal coefficient of x. That is why the first group is x squared itself. Let us now identify the third term that will make the second group a perfect square trinomial. So that is equal to 18 all over 2, or 18 divided by 2, that is 9, squared, which is equal to positive 81. Since you add positive 81 on the left side, you also add positive 81 on the other side. By expressing the trinomial into a square of a binomial, that will be equal to x squared plus the quantity y plus 9 squared equals to 1. This is now the center radius form of the equation of the circle. Now, since there is no constant paired on x, that means that the value of h is equal to 0. Therefore, the center of the circle is at 0, -9. While based from the standard equation, r squared is equal to 1. We therefore conclude, by getting the square root square root of both sides, that r is equal to positive 1. Convert 3x squared plus 3y squared plus 12x minus 6y minus 12 equals 0 into center radius form. By regrouping, that is equal to rx squared plus 12x plus quantity 3y squared minus 6y equals positive 12. Now in this example, the two groups are factorable. So we need to factor this one out by getting the common monomial factor. On the first group of terms, we will have 3 times the quantity x squared plus 4x, while on the second group of terms, we will have 3 times the quantity y squared minus 2y equals 12. Let us identify now the third term that will make the first group a perfect square trinomial. 4 divided by 2, that is 2, squared, that is equal to positive 4. Now, since there is a common factor outside the parentheses, we need to multiply the constant by the number or by the common factor outside the parentheses. So, we will then have 4 times 3 is equal to positive 12. Now, positive 12 will be added on the other side of the equation. Same thing with the second group of terms. Negative 2 divided by 2 is equal to negative 1 squared, that is equal to positive 1. Since there is a common monomial factor outside, which is 3, multiply 1 by 3, and that will be equal to positive 3. Therefore, we need to add positive 3 on the other side of the equation. Let us now express the trinomial into a square of a binomial. So we will have 3 times the quantity x plus 2 squared plus 3 times the quantity y minus 1 squared is equal to 27. Now, the standard form is given by quantity x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. Since there is no common factor outside, we need to divide the whole equation by 3. So this one can be expressed as quantity x plus 2 squared plus quantity y minus 1 squared is equal to 9. That is equal to 27 divided by 3, which is equal to 9. We may now identify the coordinates of the center of the circle by identifying the values of h and k on the standard form. The center of the circle is at negative 2, positive 1. Let us now identify the length of the radius. From the equation, we all know that r squared is equal to 9. Therefore, r is equal to positive 3. Let us convert 4x squared plus 4y squared minus 16x plus 12y minus 9 is equal to 0 into center radius form. Just like what we did on our first examples, let us regroup the terms of the given equation. And that will be equal to quantity 4x squared minus 16x plus quantity 4y squared plus 12y is equal to 9. There is a common factor between the terms, and that is equal to 4. So we are going to express this one as 4 times the quantity x squared minus 4x plus 4 times the quantity y squared plus 3y equals positive 9. Let us now identify the third term that will make the perfect square trinomial. On the first group, we have negative 4 divided by 2, that is equal to negative 2 squared, which is equal to positive 4. Multiply the constant to the common factor outside the parentheses, that is equal to 4 times 4, which is equal to positive 16. So let us add positive 16 on the other side of the equation. On the second group of terms, we have 3 all over 2, which is equal to 3 halves, squared, that is equal to 9 over 4. So you add 9 over 4 to make it a perfect square trinomial. Now, multiply 9 over 4 to the common factor outside the parenthesis, which is 4. That is equal to 9 over 4 times 4. That is equal to 9. Now, let us express the trinomial into a square of a binomial. So, we will have 4 times the quantity x minus 2 squared plus 4 times the quantity y plus 3 halves squared equals 34. By dividing the equation in terms of the common factor, we will then have quantity x minus 2 squared plus quantity y plus 3 over 2 squared equals 34 over 4. We now have the values of h and k, so we can now identify the coordinates of our center. The center is at 2, negative 3 over 2, while the length of the radius is equal to square root of 34 all over 2. Let us now summarize what we have discussed in this video. The center radius form of the circle is given by quantity x minus h squared plus quantity y minus k squared is equal to r squared, wherein center is at hk and r is the radius. Let us now check your knowledge. Do not forget to pause this video while you are doing the activity. Rewrite x squared plus y squared minus 2x plus 2y minus 3 equals 0 into center radius form, and identify the coordinates of the center and the length of the radius. Let us first regroup the terms included in the equation. That is equal to quantity x squared minus 2x plus quantity y squared plus 2y equals positive 3. Let us now identify the constant term that will make the first group and the second group of terms a perfect square trinomial. So we have negative 2 divided by 2, which is equal to negative 1, squared, that is equal to positive 1. We add positive 1 on the left side. We also add positive 1 on the right side. On the second group of terms, that is equal to 2 divided by 2, that is equal to 1, squared, is equal to positive 1. We also add positive 1 on the other side of the equation. Let us now express the trinomial into a square of a binomial. The first one is equal to quantity x minus 1 squared plus quantity y plus 1 squared equals positive 5. Now, since this is now the standard form of the equation or the center radius form of the equation, we may now identify the center of the circle by identifying the values of h and k. Because we all know that the center is represented by the coordinates h and k. Based on the equation, the center is at 1, negative 1, while the length of the radius is equal to square root of 5, since r squared is equal to 5. Rewrite 4x squared plus 4y squared plus 8x minus 32y minus 12 equals 0 into center radius form and identify the coordinates of the center and the length of the radius. Let us first regroup the terms in the given equation, and that is equal to quantity 4x squared plus 8x plus quantity 4y squared minus 32y equals positive 12. By factoring the two groups of terms, we will then have 4 times the quantity x squared plus 2x plus 4 times y squared minus 8y is equal to positive 12. Let us now identify the constant term that will make the perfect square trinomial. That's 2 divided by 2, which is equal to 1, squared, that is equal to positive 1. Now, since we have a common factor outside the parenthesis, which is equal to 4, let us now multiply 1 by 4, and that is equal to positive 4. We are going to add positive 4 on the other side of the equation. On the second trinomial, we will have negative 8 divided by 2, which is equal to negative 4. The square of negative 4 is equal to positive 16. Let us now multiply 16 to the common factor outside the parenthesis, which is equal to 4. And that is equal to 16 times 4 equals 64. Let us express the trinomial as a square of a binomial. That is equal to 4 times the quantity x plus 1 squared plus 4 times the quantity y minus 4 squared is equal to 80. By eliminating the common factor 4, that is equal to quantity x plus 1 squared plus quantity y minus 4 squared equals 20. Since we now have the standard form, we can now identify the values of h and k in the equation. So the center of the circle is given by the coordinates -1 and +4, while the radius is equal to square root of 20 or r is equal to 2 square root of 5. Thank you for watching Sir Ocnic's YouTube channel. If you think that this video is a big help, hit like, feel free to share, and do not forget to subscribe. Always have fun in learning math.